What are your thoughts on couples that swing?
Well, like we were talking about in the last question, my experience with people that are swingers, same thing. They kind of have settled. They're not really super into the person that they're with, and because the reality is, open relationships, couples that swing, 9 times out of 10 they end up splitting up and going their separate ways because one of them ends up falling in love with somebody else, and feelings are of butthurt are there because if two people are in a committed relationship and their goals and values are aligned and they really do like each other and they really do click, they're not gonna want to swing. That's just a fact of life. And usually the other thing is, I don't. I actually there were some comments I want to make, but it's just I've noticed couples that, like I said, that tend to swing. They're not happy. I have not known one that stayed together.
Same.
Eventually, they found somebody else, or the other person found, and it ends up in butthurt feelings, especially if they're in the same group
Mm-hmm.
of swingers or they're wife swapping. It's these are people that have settled and they're not really happy, and they're looking for something better, but they're too insecure to go it on their own. They're not able to get the caliber of person that they want. And they're not willing to, they're not going to read a book like mine or try to get better or develop themselves. They're going to look for the path of least resistance, which is what most people do. And then they get in this swinging lifestyle, and eventually, when they're just hooking up with random people, they end up finding somebody they like and they click with more, and then they drift away from the person they're with, and then you get infighting in the groups of the swingers, and there's butthurt feelings, and it's weakness invites aggression in all areas. Especially, we have a weak president now. Look at Russia. Russia would have done that if Trump was there. Even Bill Maher was saying this is a fact. Trump told Putin that he would destroy Moscow and St. Petersburg if they moved on Ukraine. He told Xi Jinping apparently that he will destroy Shanghai and Beijing if they moved on Taiwan. And so now you got Joe in there, and what are the Taiwanese doing? The Chinese Communist Party is flying all kinds of sorties. They just did a bunch. They were firing missiles over Taiwan a month or so when Nancy Pelosi went there, and they're getting more and more aggressive. They're at the rate that they're building their navy by, was it 2030? I think it is. They're going to have enough to project. They'll have more ships in their navy than the United States does. I think all the rest of the navies of the world combined, but they've never been able, at least as far as we know, been able to track our subs. And that's because the subs are part of the nuclear triad, which you've got strategic bombers that have nuclear weapons, you've got the missiles, and then you've got the submarines and the ships. So even if you were able to first strike hit the United States homeland, we got subs, nuclear subs all over the world that have enough nuclear weapons to destroy the whole entire world many times over out there. And same thing with our, SAC, Strategic Air Command.
Now, back to the question, what about when it comes to swingers, do you think they're aware of the consequences behind going for that? Like when they go swinging, do you think they're aware of the consequences and what could happen following their actions?
Well, typically they're not satisfied in the relationship they're in. And so that's like, hey, well, this is a way to spice up our love life. In reality, they're monkey branching. They're getting involved sexually with other people and other partners, hoping deep down that they're going to find somebody that they like more and they click more, and that oftentimes happens. And it's really nasty when the breakup happens, because especially if they're in the same group of swingers, you get a wife and a husband from different relationships get together, and then you get you're a homewrecker, butthurt feelings, and that's what's happening. It's people settle, and most human beings settle. Most people are mediocre. Very few people are going to be part of the 3%.
But you think they're aware of that could happen?
What could happen?
That their shit hits the fan, like there's going to be a breakup involved, someone catches feelings for the other person. Because for a lot of people, they see that as, oh, it's harmless. What is it going to do? It's a kink, you're spicing up your love life. But the last thing that they want to think is, oh, my husband or my wife fell in love with, say, my friend who's also into swinging as well, like, do you think they're aware that something like that can happen?
I mean, at the end of the day, if I'm in an exclusive relationship, there ain't no other pole coming near my girl. That's just not going to happen. If I'm in, I'm in. But otherwise, no dice. No thank you.